I'm Sophia Annicchiarico and this is Group 1. We chose the art piece Head or Tête by Pablo Picasso made in 1926. This is an oil painting on canvas that is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. It is now found in the Cleveland Art Museum. We chose Head because it did exactly what we learned art is supposed to do. In class, we talk about how art impacts and influences people differently, and this painting provided that moment we all looked at it together. Nobody saw the same image. That's not by accident either. Cubism was built on the idea that one subject can hold multiple perspectives at once, and a small oil painting from 1926 managed to give 5 different people a completely different starting point. And that is why it was the right choice. Speaking of Cubism is the style of this painting. It's an art style that Picasso and his French colleague George Braque came up with together in 1907. Instead of painting something the way you would normally see it from one angle, they broke the subject apart and showed it from multiple viewpoints all at the same time in one image. And that's exactly what you're seeing in this painting.
Hi, my name is Chris Ahrens, and I'm a freshman here at FAU studying health science. And today I'm going to be talking about how Pablo Picasso uses space in his portrait Head to enhance the portrait and basically allow us to see all these different perspectives and views of it. So, first off, when I looked at it, I only saw one face. But then after realizing all this, I realized that there's so much more to it, and I saw these two other faces in it right here with the tan and right here at the red. But after thinking about this, it made me realize that as a health science major, if I want to help people in the world and just, be a better person in general, I have to look at things with perspective and with different perspective and just, really have an open mind when it comes to, everything. And I think this is a big message that Pablo Picasso is trying to send to us because he wouldn't have done this if, he wanted to just show one thing. So that's what I feel about Pablo Picasso's painting.
Hi, my name is Nisa Albino, and I am a senior computer science student, and I chose the formal element value. So the first thing I see when I look at this portrait is the striking contrast between the light areas versus dark areas. The left side of the face uses a much lighter value of muted blues and grays, while the right side of the face uses a darker value of deep red, which seems to be almost overtaking the right side like a shadow. I believe Picasso did this to portray the internal conflict of a person or the divided sides. For example, the left side could be the calm, collected side being filled with rage from a darker side, or it could also be the good and bad sides of a conscience. I chose this element because it represents my battles throughout my academic journey. I'm working on a very large scale robotics project currently, and the portrait can represent my emotional conflicts. The lighter side is my excitement and passion for robotics, while the darker side is the rage and frustration by my repetitive failure throughout the project. The feeling of giving up feels like it's overtaking my love for robotics, the dark side overtaking the light side.
Hi, my name is Ryan Almeida. I'm a computer science major and I'm currently a freshman. The element I chose was lines. In Picasso's head, we can see the same face from multiple angles all at once. And the lines are what make these different perspectives possible. In class, we talked about how lines create structure and define boundaries. And that's exactly what they're doing here. On the right side of the painting, the lines help you visualize the point of the chin, while the lines at the top help define the hair. Even the faint line between the blue and the white reveals a side profile if you look closely. Without these lines, it would be difficult to see the different perspectives at all. The reason I chose line is because it relates to cybersecurity. Part of security is managing firewalls that set boundaries and separations in our network. It defines what belongs inside or what stays outside of the network. The lines in this painting do the same thing. They do not just outline the face, they separate each perspective from the other. And in doing so, they protect the integrity of each one. Remove the separation and the outside blends with the inside.
Hi, my name is Malika Amirgaliyeva. My major is communication and I'm a freshman. And my formal element is texture. When I look at this painting, I notice the use of texture. The surface does not look smooth and some parts look rough or uneven. The artist uses brush strokes to create this effect, especially on the face and background. Because of this, the painting feels more alive and not flat. The texture makes the image feel more intense and emotional. I can relate this to tennis. When I play, especially in stressful matches, everything can feel rough and not smooth, just like the texture in the painting. My game is not always clean and sometimes my movements feel heavy or uneven. This shows that not everything has to be perfect to have meaning. Just like in the painting, the rough moments can still be powerful and important.
Hi, my name is Sophia Annicchiarico. I'm a business major and a freshman here at FAU, and the element I chose is shape and volume. Where I see it in the painting is in the face. It is not smooth or realistic. Instead, it is made of rounded, curved shaped pieces that seem to fit like puzzle pieces. It especially stands out to me in the eyes and nose. The nose is not just a line, it is a circular form and sticks out, as well as the eyes that are uneven and placed in unusual places in the face. Picasso was likely doing this on purpose because he was trying to break away from the realistic representation of a human face while still trying to resemble a head. Picasso also uses this element to control what you notice like an event planner, which is what I want to be, and is also the reason I chose this element. I picked this element shape and volume because it keeps things simple, but also relates to my major of business and my career goals of being an event planner. It connects because you need a strong structure first in business, especially in event planning. The shape is like the blueprint of an event, like where all the people and items go, while the volume is how full the space is when it's filled with lighting and decorations.